I was clear-headed and sure I wasn't hallucinating, someone was definitely spying. In the end, I convinced Hongjie and we decided to check it out. As we approached, there was only grass, no sign of any little person. You're just imagining things. Where are these little guys? Did Snow White come too? Chen Jiansheng mocked. I was about to retort angrily. Wait. Hongjie interrupted. Look, what's that? Footprints? Following her finger, we saw a pair of small footprints in the soft earth smaller than bound feet, roughly the size of a 5 or 6-year-old child's. No shoes on the feet. Strangely, each foot had only 4 toes, missing the big toe. This is segment 43 out of 283. Please process the following content logically while preserving the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Return only the processed result. Looking at the footprints on the ground, I swallowed nervously. Hongjie and Chen Jianxing's faces were also grim. We had obviously been spied on. What was even worse was that we didn't know whether that thing was human or ghost. In other words, there might be more than just the 3 of us here, something else. Fear came from the unknown. The more I thought about it, the more scared I became. Chen Jiansheng also stopped being arrogant. Chen, do you have any dwarfs or disabled people in your team? I asked cautiously. No, Chen Jiansheng frowned. Besides me and Chen Jigua, the other brothers are all gone. There's no one like that in the team. The incident happened suddenly. We didn't dare to risk traveling, so we decided to rest here for the night to regain our strength. We took turns keeping watch at night. I was on from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Chen Jiansheng lit the fire with a fire striker. We had gathered rotten, dry branches. Our rest spot was next to a small mound of earth, where there was less vegetation. When it was my shift, around 2 o'clock, my eyelids grew heavy, and I felt extremely sleepy, but I forced myself to stay awake by pinching my leg. Hongjie and Chen Jiansheng were already asleep. Adding 2 more sticks to the fire, my head got heavier. Smack! Suddenly, a sharp pain hit the back of my head. I didn't know who had thrown a clump of dirt at me. Looking down, I saw a soil clump rolling on the ground. Instantly, all sleepiness vanished. Cold sweat broke out on my back. That was pure fear. In the firelight, I slowly turned my head to look behind me. About 30 meters away, standing on the ground, was a little dwarf. He wore an oversized, wide-brimmed hat and a tattered black coat covered in dirt, like a corpse's clothing. I'm dreaming. It has to be a dream. I pinched the web between my thumb and index finger hard, letting the pain keep me alert. Smack! The little dwarf threw another clump of dirt, this time missing me. Terrified, I backed away until I reached Chen Jianxing's side. Not daring to speak, I lightly touched Chen Jianxing to wake him up. At first, he didn't respond. I anxiously pinched him again. Hey! What's wrong with you? Are you sick? He woke up. My face pale, I quietly pointed behind me. Chen Jiansheng looked drowsily, then rubbed his eyes hard. When he met the figure face to face, his expression instantly went pale. He lowered his head, trembling lips, whispering, "Don't make a sound. Pretend you didn't see it." After saying that, he lay down and closed his eyes. The night passed in silence. The next morning. "Didn't you guys rest at all last night? You look awful," Hongjie asked. We both looked pale. We had both seen that thing the night before. I hadn't dared to tell Hongjie at first. It was Chen Jianxing who spoke about it first. After hearing his story, Hongjie frowned and asked me, "Yunfeng, is it true?" I clenched my fist and nodded. Chen Jianxing looked around and lowered his voice. "I've always thought it was strange. That buried axe couldn't have moved by itself. It has to be that thing." "Did you see its face?" Hongjie asked. "No, didn't see it. It wore a big hat. Its shabby clothes looked like they were stolen from somewhere and covered it tightly, so I couldn't see anything clearly." I recalled last night's scene, sure I hadn't missed any details. The 3 of us conspired and made a secret plan. At first, I was very scared and told Hongjie we should leave immediately. But Hongjie shook her head, saying there was too much going on. Her intuition told her we couldn't just leave, we had to follow the clues. During the day, we tried not to look around much, walking with our heads down, speaking quietly, not eating random things, just some fruit to stave off hunger. At night, as usual, we lit a fire, but no one stood watch. The 3 of us lay around the fire with eyes closed. But this time was different. We didn't sleep, we pretended to. Hongjie tightly gripped a small dagger in her hand, palm facing down, hidden under her sleeve. Chen Jianxing and I each held a short sharpened wooden stick, arms pressing down on them, so from the outside, it just looked like 3 people sleeping. Time passed bit by bit. Because we didn't add firewood, the flames grew smaller in the latter half of the night. Tap tap, something threw a small clump of dirt, testing us. We kept pretending to sleep, eyes closed, no movement at all. I gripped my wooden stick tightly, heart pounding with fear. A few minutes later, another small clump came flying. We still didn't move or react. About an hour later, soft footsteps were heard. Squinting, I lay on the ground and peeked. The little dwarf from last night appeared, holding small stones, wobbling step by step toward the fire. His way of walking was strange, like a little old lady. Slow and cautious, inching closer to us. Fearful of being discovered, I quickly shut my eyes. The footsteps grew nearer. I felt he was right beside me. Attack! Chen Jianqing suddenly jumped up, shouting fiercely, raising his wooden stick to strike. Hong Jie also leaped up, dagger stabbing at the little dwarf. Squeak! Squeak! The little dwarf screamed like a mouse and turned to run. This was paragraph 44 out of 283. Here's the processed content, keeping the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout intact, translated into English in a style natural for American readers. We had waited an entire night for this chance, how could we let him escape? I was the closest, so I quickly grabbed his calf and didn't let go. Quick! Hurry! I got him! I shouted. The dwarf struggled fiercely, his strength nearly wrenching my hand free. Sister Hong's dagger plunged into his stomach, going in deep. He bled out red and black blood. In pain, he thrashed wildly, dodging Chen Jianqing's strike, and my wrist nearly dislocated. Less than a minute later. Thud! The dwarf collapsed, the dagger still lodged in his belly, twitching as blood pooled around him. The three of us went pale, exchanging looks. Our eyes silently asked, "Who's going to take off his hat and see if he's dead?" The fire dwindled, so Chen Jianqing kicked 2 sticks of dry wood to rekindle the flames. "Yunfeng, you go. Take off his hat." Sister Hong handed me the dagger, ordering. I gripped the dagger tightly and slowly approached. Taking a deep breath, I kicked off the hat. Beneath it was a strange face, not quite monkey, but monkey-like. We exchanged a glance, both surprised. The face was long and pointed, a prominent nose, bright red hair around the mouth, a forehead covered in white hair, and small, eerie eyes. Its eyes were closed, mouth half open, it was already dead. Ha! Is this the thing? Chen Jianqing looked toward Sister Hong. She frowned. Not sure. I've never seen it before. Impatient, I asked if she knew what it was. She said it might be a legendary mountain spirit, something wild from the mountains. Sister Hong explained that old hunters said the deadliest and most sinister creatures in the mountains weren't tigers or leopards, but the mountain spirit. They come as male and female. The males are cannibals, lustful, and like to assault girls. The females enjoy playing tricks, disguising themselves as children among people, and if they're having fun, they'll take a child away. They stand over a meter tall and usually wear large hats to hide themselves, so from afar they look like kids. The elders say the mountain spirit's hat can grant invisibility, wear it, and others can't see you. But I tried it and found it useless. I put on the hat and asked, "Am I invisible now?" Chen Jianqing snapped, "Sure, invisible, go rob a bank wearing it, no one'll see you, you can sneak into the ladies' room, cameras won't catch you either." I smirked and tossed the hat aside, he was obviously mocking me. The hat's origin was unknown, but we noticed the mountain spirit was wearing its clothes backward. Chen Jianqing pulled out a plastic bag from an inside pocket, it held a lighter and half a pack of cigarettes. His face turned grim as he kicked the corpse several times. This damn thing was wearing our team's clothes. It stripped someone's clothes and put them on. Sister Hong shook her head. "They're all dead. Stop losing your mind. Let's see if there's anything else, any jade ritual objects you mentioned." We searched the body but found no jade artifact. Suddenly Chen Jianqing clapped his hands, startling me. Sister Hong asked what was going on. He pointed excitedly upward. "My brother got into trouble up there. This damn thing slipped into the tomb owner's back garden wearing those clothes." Chen Logistics, what does this mean? Sister Hong thought for a moment. "Maybe there's a path." "Exactly." Chen Jianqing pointed both up and down. "There has to be a passage connecting above and below. We just need to find it, and we can get out." I was excited too. If that passage existed, we could escape and find Big Brother and Third Brother. But the question was, where was the path? Now we had a clue. This verdant, overgrown underground ravine was likely the tomb owner's back garden. If the tomb owner was Jieho, given his status, it made sense to plant rare flowers here for enjoyment after death. It was somewhat like Qin Shi Huang's tomb, where Mercury made the seas and luminous pearls represented the sun, moon, and stars. The difference is, Sima Chen detailed the Ling Mountain tomb and records of the Grand Historian, but nothing, neither folklore nor official history, mentions Jieho's tomb. Sister Hong devised a plan to find the way up. Although mountain spirits were sneaky, they had some monkey-like traits, and Sister Hong guessed they lived in groups. Since one was missing, maybe its companions would come searching? We had no real plan, but Chen Jiancheng had been stuck here for half a year. He was trying everything. We propped the dead mountain spirit against a tree, put the hat back on it, and dressed it in clothes again. Then we backed 100 meters away and hid behind a big tree to watch secretly. Set up correctly, from afar the mountain spirit looked like it was resting for real. After over an hour, the moment we'd hoped for arrived. I was dozing off when Sister Hong gently tapped me, signaling to stay awake. Something was happening. I peeked from behind the tree and nearly jumped. Mist suddenly rose. 300 or 400 meters ahead, vague small dark shapes appeared in the white fog, faces unseen, only hats visible. A dozen or so, wearing clothes of different colors, black, white, no idea where they'd come from. They mimicked human walking, shuffling awkwardly. The scene was shrouded in thick white fog, reminiscent of ghostly processions in old Hong Kong horror films. I swallowed hard, my heart pounding in my throat. Soon, they discovered their dead companion. They swirled around it, squeaking chaotically like rats. After a while, they seemed to reach a consensus. For grouped together, lifting the dead baboon, twisting their bodies as if ready to move. Follow, Chen Jiancheng whispered, leading the way stealthily. We kept about 100 meters distance. The terrain was complex, thick with plants. Whenever anything seemed off, we'd hide in the grass. We moved cautiously, stopping and going. These creatures frequently looked back, nearly exposing us. After an unknown stretch, winding through twists and turns, they led us to a hidden small cave. The entrance was overgrown with wild grass, perfectly camouflaged. Had we not seen them slip inside, we never would have noticed it. I lowered my voice and asked, Chen Tu, you've been here long. Have you ever seen this place before? Chen Jianqing peeked through the grass and answered, a tiny cave with grass covering the entrance? No way I'd have found it. As the last creature entered the cave, we started moving too. At first, the cave was narrow and low, we had to bend over to walk. Standing upright meant banging our heads. Not seeing shadows of those things inside, we quickened our pace. Gradually, the space widened. Up ahead appeared an exit resembling a door, faint light seeping through. Is this the end? Chen Jianqing asked. Hongji shook her head. Not sure. Let's go check it out, don't lose the group. I ran ahead, but nearly slipped, almost tumbling down. Loose stones cascaded as Chen Jianqing grabbed me from behind. What's the rush? Don't lose your life. Still shaken, I stepped back twice. The cave opening was at least 20 meters above ground. Vines hung down as the obvious way down. Chen Logistics, your arms and legs are so skinny, can you make it? Chen Jianqing asked. Just don't fall to your death, no one else cares about you, Hong Jia snapped back. All right, he said, grasping the vines. I'll go down first and scout. He moved skillfully, pushing off the wall with his legs to control speed, sliding down in 5 or 6 minutes. Chen Jianqing untied the rope, signaling us down. Hong Jia went second, steady and sure. I had no technique. The vines bit into my hands, my palms got scraped and raw on the way down. He laughed at me. Practice more next time. Use your legs, don't just hang on. We pressed on. Below, the space opened up. The walls bore chisel marks. 2 stone pillars stood in the middle, with dark stairs leading underground between them. Is the flashlight still working? Hong Jia asked. I checked. A little power left, won't last more than an hour. She frowned, let's go down and see. We followed the steps downward. At first, the flashlight shone ahead. Gradually, torchlight appeared. Chen Jianqing muttered under his breath, weird. They're using fire. Don't know if they can cook. I kinda want to try baboon-cooked food. His comment reminded me of my second brother, so carefree, blabbering whatever came to mind. Walking on the stone path for a few minutes, Hong Jia whispered urgently, stop. Listen. Do you hear that? Around the corner came squeaking sounds, those creatures indeed. We hid in the shadows, peeking carefully. A small group of squat creatures squeaked, surrounding a dead comrade on a round stone altar. Suddenly, they fell silent, as if agreeing on something. One leapt onto the stone platform, rummaging out a pale blue-white small axe-shaped object. Chen Jianqing whispered excitedly, see? That's the axe I mentioned. They really stole it. Look! The creature raised it and slammed it down hard. After several strikes, the corpse's skull smashed open. Yellowish-white liquid splattered across the altar. The others swarmed the altar, frantically licking the fluid. The scene was both horrifying and disgusting. The air reeked of blood. My stomach churned, I felt nauseous. Hong Jia was equally uncomfortable. While we both felt sick, Chen Jianqing joked, what the heck, are they drinking tofu pudding? After they finished licking, the creatures grouped and vanished into the darkness. Once they left, we emerged as well. The object on the stone altar had its head gnawed into a mess, only yellowish-white remnants left. Chen Jianqing was the first to notice inscriptions carved into the round altar. They appeared to be bird script characters, though time had worn many of them away. We endured our nausea and pushed the corpse off the altar. The lowest row of bird script characters was the clearest. Hongjie, do you recognize any of these? I asked. She shook her head. Out of dozens, I only recognize one. She pointed to a character. I've seen this on other bronze artifacts. It should be the character for sacrifice. Sacrifice? I asked curiously. Like a ritual sacrifice? Yes. Her expression grew solemn. Then this must be a sacrificial altar, Chen Jianqing said, scanning the surroundings. Sacrificial rites have existed since ancient times and continue even now. Burning paper on tomb sweeping day, incense in temples all qualify. But during the early Shang and Zhou periods, sacrifices meant blood and death. At that time, slavery was widespread, sacrifices of livestock were rare, but human sacrifices were very common. Slaves were beheaded, and their heads were placed inside bronze vessels called lian. The shaman would use a knife to pierce a small round hole in the top of the skull, symbolizing the round heaven and square earth. This was an offering, releasing the soul to the heavens and the gods. This was a typical use of sacrificial platforms in the Shang and Zhou dynasties, but there were many other cruel occult practices as well. West Zhou tombs show a pattern. Within 5 meters around the sacrificial platform, there were always pits containing human heads or bones from attendant burials. We also found such a burial pit, located northwest of the round sacrificial platform. The sacrificial pit was rectangular, scattered with severely calcified human bones, some still in their original postures, clearly undisturbed for thousands of years. Hongjie sighed as she looked at the white bones. 2,000 years ago, these were living people. Generally, Shang and Zhou sacrificial pits contained no grave goods, as slaves weren't entitled to them, but this time was different. Chen Jianqing was sharp-eyed and noticed a pottery jar shaped like a chicken's head lying on its side, half buried in the soil. Since pottery was low in value, Hongjie said, "Don't waste time, let's go find a way out." Chen Jianqing shook his head. "Wait, you didn't look carefully at the surface of that jar." Taking a closer look, a small clay figure was half exposed on the ground. "This is a pottery soul jar, a first-class cultural relic," Chen Jianqing said proudly. Soul jars were common only in the Shang and Zhou and Eastern Han dynasties. West Zhou pottery soul jars were rare and valuable. Feng Shui masters favored West Zhou soul jars. Legends said they could trap the souls of those who died violent deaths, allowing the corpse to be resurrected after ritual ceremonies. The sacrificial pit was not deep, about 2 meters. Chen Jianqing excitedly jumped into the pit to dig out the soul jar. I advised him against it. Grave robbers never let go when they see treasure. Chen Jianqing felt around the jar, and was surprised when he lifted it. "It's heavy, could it be a gold ingot?" He struggled to lift the jar. "Pull me up quick, I can't get out." I helped pull him up. The jar's lid was tightly sealed, seemingly never opened. Chen Jianqing brushed soil off his knees. Even old hands have never seen one this intact. Hongjie sneered. What good things could be in a sacrificial pit? Just millennial-old dried poop fossils. Chen Jianqing was embarrassed by the mockery. "Just kidding. Let me borrow your little dagger to pry it open." I noticed Chen Jianqing's attitude toward Hongjie had softened quite a bit since we met. Hongjie often teased him, and he only retorted lightly. I guessed he might have some special feelings for her, and thought, is Chen the foreman planning to take over the alpine grasslands? After taking the dagger, Chen Jianqing set the soul jar upright and began prying the lid. The jar's opening was coated with a pale yellow waxy resin, a waterproof layer, cracked like stone after 1,000 years. Stabbing with the dagger only left a white mark. Using the sharp dagger, he struggled for over 10 minutes, sweating heavily, until finally prying open a crack. Immediately, a strong aroma of wine bloomed. Chen Jianqing was stunned. The soul jar actually contains wine? More than 2,000 years old. He stepped back, shaking his head. No, that era didn't have distilled spirits, this scent. Hongjie was curious too, pointing at the soul jar. There was a rare celadone plum vase unearthed in a Han tomb at Dabao Tai, which once held wine. Though rare, there's precedent. Chen Jianqing, either being cocky or confident, suddenly said, "I'm in luck. This wine must be evaporating constantly, I have to try it." "You actually dare drink it?" I hadn't expected such boldness. He smiled, stroking his chin. "I'm a drunkard, haven't had a drink for half a year." 1,000-year-old wine, just thinking about it is exciting. "Do you know the highest state of drinking?" I shook my head. He looked at Hongjie and bragged, "Getting liver cancer, that's the pinnacle of cultivation." I almost burst out laughing. thinking that final stage of cultivation was a direct ticket to the crematorium. Hongjia called him an idiot. He grinned, watch this. Pried off the wax seal and scooped out a bit to taste. Mouth smacking, he frowned deeply, looking uncomfortable. Foreman Chen, how's the taste? He was silent, I feared poisoning. He swallowed, grimaced, smells like wine, tastes weird, sweet, like sugar water. Within 3 minutes his face started flushing, getting redder and redder, like painted with red oil. He shook his head hard. Damn, could it be fake wine? Normally, unless it was distilled liquor, the alcohol would evaporate over time. Low-alcohol rice wine stored for decades under a lid would become tasteless and diluted. But the wine inside the soul jar was completely different. I even suspect it's not wine at all. Chen Jiansheng was a seasoned drinker. After scooping some with his hand, he immediately showed signs of intoxication, speech slurred, face alarmingly red. Foreman Chen, are you okay? Can you still walk? I steadied him, he was unsteady. I can. Definitely can. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Potent, he slurred happily. Such a fool, Red's sister rolled her eyes and cursed. Chen Jiansheng walked while swaying, holding the soul storage wine jar tightly. Come on, I'm not drunk. This wine. I'm taking it out. 1 drop sells for 100,000. Unable to argue with him, I reminded, Chen, walk carefully. Don't fall. There's a small path northwest of the sacrificial pit that leads to a cave, supposedly the only way in. We never knew where it led, only that those creatures came and went through it. Chen Jiansheng staggered ahead, with Red's sister and me following behind. The path looked flat at first, but after several dozen meters, it started to slope upward. My heart lifted, there was hope we could make it up. Suddenly, a squeaking noise echoed all around, emerging from nowhere. Ahead of us, a group of small, hat-wearing gibbons blocked the center of the path, chattering noisily. They held fist-sized stones in their hands. Red's sister and I froze, startled by the scene, instinctively stepping back. Primates are very perceptive. The moment we moved, they sensed our fear. Red's sister, watch out. A stone flew at her head. She ducked just in time, the stone grazed her hair and smashed against the wall, splitting in two with a loud crack. The force was immense. If it hit her head, it would have been fatal. Retreat! Red's sister shouted immediately. Run! I grabbed the dazed Chen Jiansheng and pulled him back. At the same time, stones rained down wildly. My arm burned from the hits, and sweat dripped from my forehead. Once we escaped the path, the gibbons didn't chase after us. Seeing my bleeding arm, Red's sister hurriedly asked if I was hurt. It hurts, but it's okay. Probably just a surface wound, the bone should be fine. I tried raising my arm, but my left hand was weak and painful when I pushed, likely fractured. All your fault. Red's sister glared at Chen Jiansheng. You're fine and still holding onto that stupid jar. You delayed us and caused this mess. Chen Jiansheng blushed, whether from the alcohol or embarrassment, shaking his head and cursing, just a bunch of monkeys. Give me a knife, I'll stab them all to death. Don't be reckless, Chen, I said through the pain. Don't underestimate these beasts. Fighting them head-on is a death sentence. This uphill path was probably the only way in, a rare find, yet blocked by a bunch of gibbons, a frustrating situation. If only we had guns, we could shoot them all at once and make a mess of them. We discussed tactics to deal with the creatures. Red's sister suggested, one person goes in first to draw their attention, while the other two slip by. The plan wasn't a guaranteed win but seemed feasible. The question was, who would take the risk? Red's sister fixed her gaze on Chen Jiansheng. You go. You bear the most responsibility. I expected him to refuse, but to my surprise, he bowed his head and agreed, fine, I'll go. You guys stay hidden. He agreed too fast. Red's sister was clearly stunned. As if sobriety had dawned on him, Chen Jiansheng cupped his hands and said, Young man, I'm Chen Logistics. There's something I need to tell you, a matter that concerns me. If I get killed by these stones, it won't be in vain. But I have to let you know, I'm not just a grave robber's laborer, I'm a descendant of Baichuandian from the Ping sect. Red's sister was stunned. Baichuandian? You mean you're a Ping sect heir from the 8 minor sects? Chen Jiansheng nodded. Exactly. I just wanted to let you know. It's the first time I've said it, and I'm surprised too. Most people nowadays have no idea what the 8 minor sects are. From the late Qing to the Republic era, besides the tomb robbing gangs, the Thousand Schemes Thousand sect, and the ghost-faring Inchi sect, there were 4 major sects and the 8 minor sects in the folk underworld. The 4 major sects were Wind, Horse, Wild Goose, and Sparrow. The 8 minor sects included Gold, Skin, Color, Hook, Ping, Group, Tune, and Willow. Among them were sellers of ointments, knives, buns, performers of magic tricks, storytellers, face readers, sellers of insect medicines and eye medicines, and even people who practiced qigong by smashing stones on their chest. Famous modern brands like Wang Mozi scissors and Qingfeng buns trace their heritage to these sects. Chen Jianqing said he was a descendant of Bai Chuandian from the Ping sect. Bai Chuandian was well known in the trade, especially for speaking ghost scriptures. Folks say speaking ghost scriptures and singing ghost plays are similar. Audiences are not human. In old times, when someone died, the head of the family would hire people to sing ghost plays and recite ghost scriptures, much like modern-day funerals hiring performance troupes. These performances were meant for the spirits, building goodwill with the afterlife. Bai Chuandian was one such person. Unexpectedly, the unassuming Chen Jianqing had this identity. He smiled and said, "Sorry, Chen Logistics. Our two factions don't agree, but my real name isn't Chen Jianqing, it's Bai Jianqing. If I don't reveal my identity, I'll die in vain. No matter how grim, as one of the 8 sects, I must spread the word. Bai Jianqing from the Ping sect died on Fei Yi Mountain in Shund. If this news gets out, we'll die with names and faces." This is paragraph 48 of 283. Please process the following content according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout, and only return the processed text. I began regretting agreeing to this plan and said to Chen, the foreman, "Why don't we find another route or try something else?" He shook his head. "No need. Chen Logistics is right, this is the fastest way. Besides, I might not die. Our Lao Bai family has some secret skills." "Secret skills? What secret skills?" I asked, curious. He didn't answer directly. "Let's go. You two follow me." He picked up a stone and whispered, "Use the stone as a wooden block, the cave as an altar. Let's give it a try." Sure enough, as soon as we stepped into the cave, those creatures leapt out again, raising stones above their heads, ready to strike. Chen Jianqing slammed the wall angrily. Bang! Bang! He loudly recited what sounded like a spell. With the stone banging against the wall, my head spun and my body froze. The mountain monkeys were stunned too, holding their stones motionless. "Quick, get out! Leave here!" Chen shouted. I supported my injured arm and looked at Hongjie, who gave Chen a cold glance and said, "Let's go." We walked through the mountain monkeys, who stared at Chen in a daze but didn't attack us. From behind came Chen's laughter. "Ha, today no tales of the 3 kingdoms or Liuzhai, just the story of Wu Song and the tiger." Hongjie and I walked farther and farther, eventually out of the cave, the sounds fading away. The grudges between the northern and southern tune raiding factions run deep, but in the end, he saved us. Thinking back on that spell he recited, I guessed it was some kind of hypnosis, like the stories my mother used to tell me as a child, relaxing, putting people into a dazed state. After leaving the cave, we waited half an hour, but Chen Jianqing didn't come out. Hongjie glanced at the cave without a word, then helped me away. Ahead was a steep slope with no path, overgrown with weeds. I understood immediately, the underground palace was shaped like a tilted hourglass, and we were right at the narrow connecting part. Looking up from the bottom of the slope, the path stretched so far it disappeared from sight. Hongjie helped me slowly climb. The grass was short, but the dew soaked my pants and shoes. After half an hour, a thin fog rose ahead, turning the surroundings hazy, like a dream. "Let's rest a bit, Yunfeng," Hongjie said, helping me sit on the grass. I was exhausted. My stomach growled loudly. Hongjie said weakly, "When I fell, my backpack was lost, and so was our food." She frowned looking up the slope. "I don't know how much farther we have to climb. This won't do. I need to find something to eat, fruit will work. You sit here, don't move, I'll go look." After Hongjie left, I sat alone. At first, I was fine, but the fog thickened. Where I could once see the road behind me, now there was nothing but white. Moments passed, and fear began creeping in. The dense fog meant Hongjie couldn't see me. I worried she might wander too far and stumble. Every 2 or 3 minutes, I shouted loudly in place, "Hongjie! Hongjie! I'm here!" I hoped she'd hear and find me by following my voice. But I didn't expect things to go this way. I waited a long time, my throat hoarse from shouting, yet there was no reply, no sign of her. I dared not move because I knew when 2 people get separated at times like this, it's better if one stays put rather than wandering and getting further apart. Dusk fell, but the thick fog remained. I shifted from sitting to lying down, my stomach growling painfully. I told myself to hold on. When daylight returned and the fog lifted, Hongjie would find me. Cold and hungry, I gradually fell asleep on the damp grass. Late at night, maybe around midnight, I vaguely heard Hongjie calling me. "Yunfeng, Yunfeng, come here, I'm here." I sat up abruptly, wincing as pain shot through my injured arm. In the pitch darkness, I sat upright, listening carefully. Yunfeng, come here, I'm here," the voice came from behind, indeed Hongjie. I groped along the darkness toward the voice, shouting, "Hongjie, where are you? I can't see you." A voice replied from the dark, Yunfeng, come here, I'm here." I stopped cold, furrowing my brows, feeling something was wrong. Hongjie repeated the exact same words each time at the same pace and tone, for 3 times in a row. I swallowed nervously and called again, "Hongjie, where are you?" Sure enough. Yunfeng, come here, I'm here." The 4th time. The exact same phrase. My face went pale as I stepped back quietly. I reached into my pocket and felt a small box, the protective amulet box Xiao Yuman gave me, said to ward off evil. I used to wear it but found it cumbersome and stuffed it in my pocket. Holding the red string in the Gao box, my mind was in turmoil. The fog was thick, the ground slippery. Could Hongjie have fallen to her death? That voice, was it her ghost calling out for me? Was she afraid I would be lonely, wanting to take me with her? In the darkness, Hongjie called out, "Yunfeng, where are you?" "I'm here." My face turned pale, I didn't dare respond. I crouched on the spot, clutching the talisman tightly, burying my head in my knees. The ground was damp, the fog heavy. I felt not just cold and fear, but loneliness. Our group was down to just me. I regretted not heeding Yumaman and Bata's warnings. Alone and scared, I sat on the grass, hungry and freezing, Li Jing's face flashing through my mind. I thought bitterly, if I disappear like this, or even die here, will Li Jing remember me years from now? Will she remember me, Xian Yunfeng? Just then, dawn broke, the wind blowing the thick fog away. A few hundred meters away on the grass, Hongjie was lying there stretching, as if just waking up. "Hongjie." I dashed over, slipping once along the way. She saw me and smiled, "You're not dead." "Thank goodness." She said helplessly, "Last night the fog was so thick I couldn't see clearly, only roughly figured out the spot. I didn't dare to wander for fear of getting separated from you." Hearing she was okay, I breathed a sigh of relief and asked, "Did you hear me calling you last night? Did you answer?" Hongjie shook her head in surprise. "No, I didn't hear anything and didn't say a word." Why? She wasn't lying, no one would make up a story when safe. So whose voice came through the fog that night? The more I thought about it, the more terrified I became, my hands even trembled. "Why do you look so pale?" Hongjie frowned. "Nothing, it's nothing." I deliberately changed the subject. "Did you find any food?" Hongjie shook her head, disappointed. "No, it's just grass and trees around here, nothing to eat." "No worries. As long as we're okay, we can go a day or 2 without eating." "Yeah, just gotta hold on." After regaining some strength, recalling last night's ordeal made me even more uneasy, sensing the place's eerie vibe. We decided to leave early. I hung the Gao box talisman around my neck, trusting it more than before. When facing the unknown, people naturally cling to something for comfort. This talisman was mine. After walking most of the day, Hongjie and I finally reached the end, a cave entrance on a slope. Standing on high ground, the view was picturesque, almost otherworldly. Around the cave mouth were stone carvings. One, though damaged, clearly depicted several fine horses. Hongjie pointed and said, "This should be the Mu King's 8 steeds. Legend says each horse had a name, like the Jiaoling's 6 steeds at Li Shiming's tomb, but their names were lost to history." The bas-relief was about 2 meters long and 1.5 meters wide. Hongjie sighed, "What a pity. If we could take it, it would fetch a fortune on the black market. But it's all broken. Can damaged stone carvings still be valuable? Look at these 2 horses' heads, half of them are missing," I said, pointing to the ruined pieces. Hongjie shook her head, "You're still green. These stone carvings with special significance, no matter if they're smashed into 100 pieces, when pieced together, they're still highly sought after. Especially by those red-haired big noses, they're obsessed with ancient artifacts." "You know the Jiaoling's 6 steeds, right?" she asked. I nodded, yes. 2 pieces, Quan Maogua and Sa Lu Zi, were stolen in the 1940s by Lu Qinzai and sold to the big noses. We still have 4 pieces, Shihuachi, Qingzhuai, Telebiao, and Bai Tiwu. Hongjie was impressed by my answer. "Not bad. Those 2 pieces were indeed stolen by him back then. Do you know how much they sold for to the Americans?" I wasn't sure, so I guessed, about 8,000 yuan. In the 1940s, that was a fortune. Ordinary people couldn't save that much in several lifetimes. Hongjie shook her head, "Not 8,000. The 2 pieces sold for a total of 125,000 silver dollars, one to Philadelphia, the other to Pittsburgh." "That much?" I gasped, mouth wide open. At the time, a courtyard house inside Beijing's second ring cost only a few hundred yuan. 125,000 yuan? At 800 yuan per house, that could buy 153 courtyard homes. Hongjie continued. Then there was Yu Bin from Beijing's Lulikang district. He stole a huge stone carving that emperor and empress worshipping Buddha seen from the Longmen grottos. To transport it, he smashed the piece into over 60 fragments, packed them in 9 boxes, and after getting them out of the cave, had people reassemble them. It sold for 60,000 yuan to a big nose named Quillen. I was shocked. I thought bronze and archaic jade were the most valuable, never imagined stone carvings could fetch such prices. Hongjie lamented, tomb robbers are hated by all, but compared to Lu and Yu, they're small fry. I stared at the stone carving, feeling its weight deepen. I asked, Hongjie, can we take this with us? She shook her head. Don't even think about it. You'd have to use professional tools to break it to carry it, and if it shows up on the market, the surveillance will definitely track it down. Do you want money, or do you want to live? I sighed, knowing the conditions didn't allow it, but my eyes were opened. I asked again, huh? This is Zhou Mu's 8 steeds, how did they end up in a southern feudal lord's tomb? Sister Hong glanced around the cave, frowning. I don't know either. There's a high-level axe here, and this stone carving was found too, which means this Jieho's status was higher than that of a feudal lord. She continued, they blasted through the mountain to build the tomb, hollowed out Flying Moth Mountain, used large amounts of northern bluestone as capstones, inscribed with Huangchang scripts, buried living servants, planted rare flora, had a vast private garden, and even an independent sacrificial pit. Sister Hong sighed deeply. This is the most terrifying underground palace tomb I've ever seen since I started in this field. The tomb owner isn't the son of heaven from Zhou, but is no less distinguished. By this point, the identity of the tomb owner was even more mysterious and impossible to pinpoint. Many modern archaeologists refuse to acknowledge prehistoric civilizations before the Shang dynasty, because the time frame is so ancient that the oracle bones and seal script can hardly decode that lost history. History is heavy and profound, just like this stone carving before my eyes. I once guessed this cave might have been used by a feudal lord in the early Western Zhou period to keep horses. After studying the carving a while, Sister Hong and I continued moving upward. My left arm felt weak and a dull ache crept in. I clenched my teeth and held back from making a sound. At the end, there was a murky pool of water. The water was unclear, with drip-drop sounds echoing around. The space was fully enclosed, the path dead-ended. Seeing the pool, our earlier hope instantly faded by more than half. I tossed a small stone inside. Splash, a muffled sound echoed from below. The water was very deep. Sister Hong, we're at a dead end. We're trapped. My mood grew heavy, my voice downcast. The surface obscured what was beneath. Sister Hong frowned. Not necessarily. Some underground rivers connect. Maybe 2,000 years ago this was just a pit, dry and empty. I want to check it out, Sister Hong said. No, I was afraid of water, especially murky, deep water. I had no idea what lurked underwater, much less where it led. Perhaps sensing my worry, Sister Hong sighed. At this point, we can only cross by feeling our way alone. If we don't find boss number 1 or number 3, we'll starve to death eventually. She loosened her clothes, unbothered by my presence as a man. I dared not look. Yunfeng, wait here. I'll be back in a few minutes. Keep an eye on my clothes. She tested the water temperature, then jumped in, splashing water. Bubbles appeared briefly on the surface before everything went still again. I grabbed her clothes tightly, nervously watching the water, my palms sweating. The constant dripping around us sounded like a ticking clock. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes passed, the water remained still. Just as I grew anxious, bubbles surfaced, followed by a sound of surfacing. Sister Hong broke the surface, gasping heavily. Her face lit up with joy. Exactly, Yunfeng, we were right. Wiping her face excitedly, she explained, there's actually a stone passageway going upward, with steps below. Over 2,000 years ago, there was no water here. Possibly an earthquake caused the underground river to surge and flood this place. I estimate holding my breath for about 4 minutes can get me through. 4 minutes? I frowned. No way, Sister Hong. I can't hold my breath that long, and my arm's weak. I pointed at my injury. She glanced at my arm, gritted her teeth. Like before, I'll hold on to you and pull you through. You still have strength now. If we drag this out, you won't even have the energy to get in the water, and then it's just waiting for death. Rest first, regain some strength. She cupped my face and looked me in the eyes. Yunfeng, you can do it. Believe in yourself, you won't die here, and neither will I. We rested. I understood Sister Hong's unspoken words clearly. There was only one chance. No escape meant death. Lying down, I closed my eyes and took deep breaths, preparing for the final adjustment before entering the water. After a couple of incense sticks burned, darkness settled around us. Ready, Yunfeng? I opened my eyes and looked around. Sister Hong leaned against the wall with her eyes closed, silent. I thought I was imagining things because of nervousness and didn't pay it much mind, closing my eyes again to restore my strength. Ready, Yunfeng? The voice came again. I opened my eyes, Sister Hong still said nothing. Slap. I gave myself a hard smack on the cheek. Sister Hong on the opposite side heard the sound. What's wrong? Yunfeng, why are you hitting yourself? I wanted to deny it, but my mouth opened on its own. What's wrong, Yunfeng? Why are you hitting yourself? I was saying exactly what Sister Hong had said. Her expression changed, and she asked coldly, Who are you? I wanted to say I was Yunfeng, but my mouth uncontrollably repeated, Who are you? Fear washed over me. I thought about Chen Tugong, who used to act like this, and we joked that he had mental problems. Could I be going crazy too? Could this be a side effect of that strange smell? But Sister Hong also smelled it. Why is she fine? That voice, I heard it again in the fog last night. Sister Hong looked pale, motioned for me to stay quiet, circled around me, frowned, and said, Yunfeng, don't speak. Listen to me. I covered my mouth and nodded. She asked, Are you having hallucinations or hearing things? I nodded, pointed to my ear, indicating I had indeed heard something. Where did the voice come from at first? Think carefully. I recalled the sound was very close at first, then gradually faded away. The initial sound was right next to me. I touched the protective charm hanging around my neck, then my pants pocket empty. Suddenly, my face went pale. I remembered grabbing a legless little bug that looked like a cicada, and carelessly stuffed it into my pocket. But, the bug was gone? Could it have crawled out? Growing more fearful, I slowly took off my pants in front of Sister Hong. As I pulled down my pants and exposed the side of my thigh, both Sister Hong and I jumped in shock. Unexpectedly, near the pocket on the outer side of my thigh, there was a fingernail-sized wound with raw, purple-red flesh turning pus-filled. What puzzled me more was that I felt no pain at all. I gently pressed the wound and felt no sensation, but some fluid oozed out. Just then, Sister Hong was silent, but I heard a voice, Yunfeng, where are you? I'm here. That was the same voice I heard on that foggy night. Looking at Sister Hong's expression, only I could hear it, she couldn't. Wait. Yunfeng, don't move, she shouted in panic, her eyes fixed on the wound. I saw the skin on the inner thigh twitching, as if something inside was writhing. Hold still, don't move. Sister Hong quickly pulled out a knife. With my leg like that, I bit hard into my clothes, trembling with fear. She aimed directly at the spot that moved and cut the flesh. Blood flowed out. I bit my clothes tightly, expecting sharp pain, but aside from a prickly numbness, there was no real pain. Inside the cut, a yellow-brown bug appeared. It was the same legless cicada-like bug I'd carelessly tucked into my pocket. Sister Hong carefully used the tip of the knife to pry it out. The moment the bug died, a sudden wave of sharp, piercing pain hit me. She tore a strip of fabric from her own clothes to bandage and stopped the bleeding, wiped her sweat, and sighed in relief. All right, it should be fine now. After the bug was removed, not only did the phantom voices stop, but everything returned to normal. Sister Hong looked at the dead bug, frowned, and said, This is creepy, reminds me of the legend of the echo bug. She spent over 10 minutes explaining the ancient lore about this bug, and I listened, half convinced. Ancient texts describe this bug as the cause of a strange and complicated illness. The Compendium of Materia Medica records that Li Shizhen instructed patients to read aloud medicinal names. When they reached thunder pills, patients would tremble in fear, but after taking them, their condition improved. This was a story passed down by later generations. The bug appeared in this secret garden. I carefully thought about the sequence of events. Chen Jiansheng had been trapped here for a while and had entered multiple times before we came. I guessed that he learned to speak because, like me, he had this strange bug hidden in his flesh. Maybe his condition was worse, making his mind scatter during episodes. I discovered it earlier and managed to stay conscious. He hadn't contacted others initially, so the bug remained dormant. Thinking this through, everything seemed to have an explanation. But this incident complicated our upcoming plan to dive through the water. The difficulty just increased. This place was too bizarre: the mountain monkeys, creeping golden moths, unknown plants, echo bugs, sacrificial pits, ritual platforms, stone carvings of 8 stallions, and finally this little pool of water. Sister Hong said no time to waste. After stopping the bleeding, she stood up and said to me, "Get ready, we're diving out." Hand in hand at the edge of the pool, she took a deep breath, turned, and reminded me, "This is the final step, Yunfeng. Don't be afraid. Remember what I told you? We're getting out alive." I clenched my teeth and nodded. "Got it. I'm all in." She guided me to breathe deeply and hold my breath. Counting down to 3, we plunged underwater together, gripping each other tight. 1, 2, 3, jump. Without hesitation, we jumped into the water almost simultaneously. The water was slightly warmer than the underground dark river, but the visibility in the water was very poor. Holding my breath, I kicked my legs wildly and tightly grabbed onto Hongjia, letting her lead the way as we swam. A few small fish swam past me. Less than a minute into diving, I vaguely saw stone steps arranged one after another. We swam along the steps. There were no underwater plants, so there was no fear of getting tangled. But unexpectedly, when I kicked my legs, the bandage on the wound on my thigh ripped open, and fresh blood continuously flowed out. The smell of blood attracted a black fish, not big, but it had teeth. As soon as Hongjie saw it, she was terrified and desperately pulled me forward as we swam. She kicked hard, my lungs were about to give out. The bleeding continued to seep. More black fish with long teeth were drawn by the blood scent, gradually gathering, all targeting us. The school of fish grew larger and chased after us. We struggled to swim along the underwater steps, and ahead the water's surface showed a few red lights, like torches. Gulp, I couldn't hold it any longer and swallowed water. Pain hit me, a black fish bit into my thigh, and immediately a second one followed. We were getting closer to the surface when Hongjie was also bitten. She frantically dragged me toward the surface. Help! Help! As soon as my head broke the water, I gasped heavily, shouting for help and yelling there were piranhas biting me. On the shore, the torches cast their glow. Sun Den and Sun San held torches, staring blankly at us. Xiao Hong, Yun Feng, the eldest brother and third brother dropped their torches, still fully clothed, jumped into the water, and pulled me up onto the shore. A few black fish were still biting my leg, and Hongjia was much the same, with several red swollen bites on her arms that looked painful. Third brother patted his thigh excitedly and shouted, "That's great! What's great about it? Third brother, haven't you seen what shape the two of us are in?" Hongjia scolded while brushing off the fish on her, looking at Sun San. We hadn't seen each other for days. Sun San's face was covered in dust and he looked thinner. He sighed, "Being able to meet again is like a blessing. Xiao Hong, you don't know what torments me and Dia have endured searching for you." "Don't talk nonsense, as long as you're both okay," the eldest brother said softly. "Yunfeng, Xiao Hong, what have you discovered? Let's talk it over." My eyelids were heavy and I had no strength. "Big brother, take care of me first, I'm about to collapse." "Let me see." "Quick, third brother, come help." Their backpacks were still there, with first aid bandages inside. We treated the wounds simply and ate some dry food. After having some in my stomach, I felt a little better. Hongjie told bits and pieces of the past few days without hiding anything. Sun San shook his head. "The world is full of strange things. To encounter such a tomb in a lifetime is truly rare. Especially that Chen Jiancheng, this guy really the Southern faction's underground worker? And he actively saved you?" I corrected him. "No, third brother. His name is Bai Jiancheng, who claims to be a descendant of Bai Chen Tian." "That's even stranger." Third brother frowned. "I know a bit about the Southern faction's underground workers, but I've never heard of him." "And what about Big Brother?" "Never heard of him," Big Brother said. "I know a little about Chen, the group of Zhao Hongshui, but this Bai Jiancheng, I have no memory of him at all." Hongjia adjusted her hair and said faintly, "Let's stop thinking about it. That guy is probably dead. No evidence means thinking too much is useless." I felt uneasy hearing this. He saved us, so why was everyone so cold? Are we being too heartless toward such a life-saving kindness? I lowered my head in silence. The eldest brother laughed. "Yunfeng, we don't forget kindness. We have our ethics, but the northern and southern factions despise each other. 20 years ago, they stabbed each other in the back. You've got to know, Xiaohong's father, Chen Jiang, was betrayed and buried alive in Tibet by the southern faction's underground workers." I was shocked. If that was true, Hongjia's grudge was the murder of her father. No wonder she's always cold toward Bai Jiancheng, not even giving her rescuer a grateful face. "Sorry, Hongjie," I said, bowing my head. She took a deep breath. "There's a cause for every injustice. My grudge will be avenged sooner or later. When I have money and connections, I'll let my father rest in peace." Her tone was calm but resolute. The eldest brother sighed. "I advise you to let it go. People at the bottom of the martial world struggle desperately but can't change their fate." "What fate?" Hongjie suddenly shouted. "As long as there's money and power." "Big brother, tell me, is my father's life fate? Nobody dares to mess with them?" "I, Chen Hong, dare to." She completely lost control and roared madly. I didn't understand the feud, but it was the first time I'd seen Hongjie like this, and it scared me a little. The Sun brothers fell silent, and the atmosphere turned weird. I cautiously asked, "Big brother," Hongjie said nobody dares to mess with them. "Who are they? One person? Even the boss dares not provoke them?" Big brother and third brother exchanged complicated looks. "No, it's an organization, a gang, a group of top figures in the underworld." "Strange people? What people?" I asked, puzzled. "Hey," the boss patted my shoulder. "Yunfeng, you're still young. There's no need to rush to know everything. Just remember, we can't mess with these guys. Not the leader, not Yumaman, not even Yumaman's uncle, Yao Wenzhong. We have to show respect. Don't overthink it. We'll keep trying to persuade Xiaohong. The longer you're around, the more you'll understand." I nodded without asking further. After all, like the boss said, I still had time. I would figure things out eventually. Forget it, don't dwell on this. Just bad luck. Yunfeng, Xiaohong, the third brother and I have been exploring up top for a while. We found something strange. This might just be the main tomb chamber hiding the coffin. The boss squatted down, picked up a stone, and as he drew and wrote, he said, "Look, this is Phi Mountain. We've walked so far. Looking ahead, there are two possibilities. 1. This huge underground palace spans two mountains, from Phi Mountain to Jiulong Mountain, just like the Qianling Mausoleum stretches across Liangshan and Rushan. 2. We've been going in circles and might still be beneath Phi Mountain. The terrain is confusing, making it hard to tell." I mulled it over repeatedly and felt both scenarios made sense. That was my guess. "Yunfeng, Xiaohong, what do you think? Speak up, we need to figure this out, or it'll be embarrassing." Everyone was silent. Hongjie was deep in thought. "Boss," I nervously raised my hand. "Oh, Yunfeng, don't rush, go ahead." "Well, boss," I gathered my thoughts, "we found a UX before and saw the stone carving of King Jomu's 8 horses. Though we haven't located the Emperor's exclusive 9 tripods and 7 ritual vessels yet, I believe it's only a matter of time." "Hold on, let me say something first." Hongjie seemed calmer now. "Just writing and drawing doesn't help. I ask you, what exactly are we doing on this trip?" "Looking for the second brother," the boss answered simply. "Did you find him?" He shook his head, a bit downcast, but quickly shifted his expression. "Haven't found him, but we found this." The boss pulled out half a used cigarette but with the brand 5 golden flowers on it. Pointing at it, he said, "Second brother smokes only this brand. It's not sold anywhere in Shund. 5 golden flowers cigarettes come from Beijing and Hebei. They're hardly seen down south, definitely a local brand. Back then, many regional cigarette brands were popular up north. I was aware of this too. Strangely, in that garment the mule ape from Aluoshan scavenged, there was half a pack of 5 golden flowers, which Chen Jianqing kept. The cigarette brand matched exactly what the second brother smoked, but the clothes were far too big. Second brother was thin. This didn't add up. Chen Jianqing had said someone in their group died, and those were that person's favorite smokes. If it was a coincidence, then at least 2 people smoked these. It meant this cigarette but couldn't prove the second brother had been here, let alone was still alive. Seeing the hope in the boss's eyes, I wanted to tell the truth several times but held back. If we never found the second brother, this lousy cigarette but at least gave them some spiritual support. I put on a false excitement. "Yeah boss, 5 golden flowers is definitely second brother's usual cigarette. He's been here and still alive, otherwise, he can't be smoking." "Exactly, that's how I feel too," the boss said, pocketing the cigarette but with a brightened gaze. Hongjie saw through it but didn't call it out. She changed the subject. "You finished your story. Now tell us yours. Don't even mention it. Just thinking about it angers me." Like I said, to prepare for special situations, I brought 4 detonators with me when we descended. Hongjie nodded knowingly. "Electric detonators, number 9.5, they were prepared by my team." "I know. Did you use any? How many?" "We used 1, thank goodness. Otherwise, me and the boss would be done for. That's a long story for another time. Now, I'm taking you somewhere I think is related to the main tomb chamber. Yunfeng, how's your leg? Can you walk? Need me to carry you?" I bit my lip in pain and stood up. "No need, boss. I can manage." "Good, that's how a man should be. I'll walk slow. If you can't keep up, say so, don't push yourself." I nodded. Beneath Phi Mountain's massive tomb, the upper level was a stone-walled underground palace, and beneath that, subterranean caverns. The mountain base was riddled with underground rivers and hidden caves, a complex structure. The Sun brothers held handmade torches, burning clothes and dry twigs for light. The flames were weak and didn't last long. They led Hongjie and me along a trail beside a calm pond to a spot. We stopped before an impenetrable wall sealed tight with Liuha earth. No doors, no windows, just a solid stone face. Lioha earthen diamond walls are modern terms, ancients never called them that. In the grave-robbing world, there's a saying. Green with white borders, wealth arrives, 3-in-1 earth, seals the blue heavens, diamond wall, can't be opened. The 3-in-1 earth is pale creamy, made from glutinous rice water, clay, and manure juice. It's extremely hard and waterproof. This is content segment 54/283. Please process the following text according to your logic. Maintain the original paragraph structure, line breaks, and overall layout. Only return the processed result. Above that, there's also 4 merger and 5 merger earth, and the highest legend speaks of 7 merger earth, but no one has ever seen it. The boss immediately recognized it as 6 merger earth, saying the color comes from a mix solidified from 3 whites, 4 blues, 5 blacks, and 6 yellows. As for the exact ingredients of 6 merger earth, the boss said they can only guess there are 5 types. Boy's urine, molten copper, clay, mulberry leaf powder, glutinous rice juice, plus an unknown material. Once gathered, they're repeatedly hammered, refined, mixed, and air-dried to form 6 merger earth. In the past, let alone 6 merger earth, even 3 merger earth was costly. The more kinds combined, the harder it gets. Hence the saying, a bowl of 3 merger earth can trade for a bowl of meat. Walls built with 5 merger or 6 merger earth are called diamond walls. Official records mention only one 5 merger earth diamond wall found. The tomb owner was Emperor Wanli of the Ming dynasty. The archaeology team had a tough time breaking through that diamond wall. Hongjia tapped the dark yellow stone wall, frowning. Third brother, there's no way around this kind of diamond wall. No one here has dealt with 6 merger yellow diamond walls before. Usually, when it's 3 merger earth, people use alum and vinegar soak, but you didn't bring that, right? You're not thinking of. Hongjia raised an eyebrow. The boss's face darkened. Back when the Dingling 5 merger earth diamond wall was built, the Wanli Emperor's coffin lay behind it. Now that we've come this far, how can we not see the tomb's true owner? Hongjia looked up, frowning. It's in the underground palace. Using 2 9.5 detonators to blow it up could cause major damage. Aren't you afraid of collapsing the palace and burying us alive? We considered that, but look, this underground palace has stood for over 2,000 years without collapsing. The quality is solid. Third brother and I are confident. Then it's up to you. Seeing the boss's determination, Hongjia didn't argue further. The 6 merger earth diamond wall was built specifically to keep grave robbers out. Ancient tomb raiders found it almost impossible to get past. Whether with hooked needles or other secret techniques, even experts couldn't break through. It could only be destroyed by brute force. Back then, to break the Dingling 5 merger diamond wall, they hired 16 strong men, each with a large hammer and pointed chisel, working in shifts every 2 hours. 16 men hammered hard for over 20 days before chipping an opening. Except for a few places in Shaanxi where detonators are still used for mining, 9.5 detonators are basically banned now. They're small with great power but unsafe, prone to causing social hazards, so production and use are forbidden, and stockpiles have mostly been destroyed. Worried that too much force might collapse the palace, we decided after discussion to try a single detonator first. We secured the detonator in the corner of the wall, pulling out a less than 30 centimeter fuse. The boss lit it alone while we retreated to 50 meters away. Lighting the fuse was tricky. The fire striker isn't windproof, so the boss had to try several times before catching the fuse. Once lit, the boss sprinted toward us. Boom! Dust flew, the ground shook. The detonator's power was tremendous and deafening. After the smoke cleared, we hurried over to inspect. The wall wasn't blown apart, just fine cracks within a 1-meter radius, the rest intact. This is a 9.5 detonator. Too hard. If we tried digging by hand, it'd take forever. The boss stared in shock. Third brother saw one detonator wasn't enough and suggested tying 2 together. 2 in series doubles the power, commonly used for blasting rocks. The boss took the risk and lit it again as we hurried away. His hand trembled, the fire striker barely catching. The fuse smoked, then he shouted and ran. Another massive explosion followed, even louder than before. Stones and dirt rained down, the air thick with gunpowder smell. 10 minutes later, the dust settled, revealing a pit beneath the ground. Our effort paid off. The diamond wall didn't collapse, but a 67-centimeter wide hole was blasted open. It was dark inside. Third brother crouched and shone his flashlight, faintly spotting a secret chamber. A coffin. Third brother shouted excitedly. The main burial chamber was hidden behind this diamond wall. All those previous chambers were decoys, he said. He was the first to enter the secret room. I was injured on my arms and legs, so Hongjia pushed me inside. Cold, really cold. The temperature difference inside is huge, I said. Hongjia sneezed, chilled to the bone. In the chamber's center stood a huge white coffin. On each side were bronze statues of generals nearly 6 feet tall, clad in chainmail, helmets on their heads, long swords in hand. The statues were lifelike, sword blades rusted, as if guarding the coffin in person, intimidating anyone who dared approach. The coffin was enormous, 5 or 6 meters long and wide, with the coffin itself placed in the center. What amazed me the most, besides the bronze statues, was this white coffin. The bronze figures showed no movement, probably just tomb guardians meant to intimidate. Third brother touched the coffin and exclaimed, "Whoa, big brother. This color looks like white tridacna." White tridacna? No way. Can giant clam shells really be used to make coffins? I had never even heard of such a thing, let alone seen one. How did they manage this in ancient times? And why would they use this material for a coffin inside the tomb? Big brother's son was shocked as well. Suddenly, he remembered something. His eyes widened, his voice trembling as he said, "Third brother, I just recalled something Fu Shang from the Eastern Han Dynasty mentioned in the Shangshu Dazhuan. It tells of King Wen of Zhou, Ji Chang, being imprisoned by King Zhou of Shang. A noble from Shang tried to rescue Ji Chang by sending King Zhou a precious giant clam treasure. Unexpectedly, after receiving the treasure, King Zhou turned on him and burned him alive. That's Fu Shang's record." Red sister frowned, saying, "Big brother, you mean the giant clam treasure the Shang noble offered King Zhou could possibly be this white coffin before us?" Big brother's face went pale, and he grit his teeth. "There's no way to verify it, only a guess. But this tomb dates back to early Western Zhou, and Ji Chang was around then, so the timeline actually fits." Looking at the massive white coffin, I suddenly recalled the scene when we first entered Huang Changdi's explanation about similar white coffins depicted on the stone walls, surrounded by many people kneeling as if conducting a ritual. I had thought it was just a hallucination after smelling Huang's old persimmon bark scent. No, that can't be right. Red sister hurried to refute: giant clamshells, dragonfly eyes, colored glass, cat's eye stones, turquoise, white quartz, sapphires, once one of the 8 treasures in Buddhism, all organic materials that are notoriously hard to preserve. Not only the Western Zhou, but even Ming Dynasty pieces are extremely rare. Unless special methods were used, they couldn't have lasted this long. Big brother nodded. "Xiaohong, you're right, but we've been in this line of work for years and have seen plenty of unbelievable things. Setting preservation aside, if Fu Shang's account is true, it means one thing. This lady here, the Marquis of Jiehou, has a connection to King Wen Ji Chang." The tomb was dimly lit, with 2 bronze statues standing beside the giant white coffin. The eerie scene made everyone feel uneasy. Big brother said with doubt, "The tomb owner really went against the norm. Not resting in the main chamber, but hidden here in the corner, and with hardly any burial goods, just 2 bronze figures. I almost thought they were terracotta warriors." He shone his flashlight on the bronzes. Third brother whispered, "Maybe this corner is considered prime feng shui. Using giant clamshell coffins shows real wealth. Hand it over, I'll open it." He pulled out a small folding steel shovel, both for digging and prying coffin boards. Big brother provided light. Third brother used the shovel to circle the coffin, searching for the Tianjing, a small opening on the coffin left in ancient tombs to let the soul ascend. From Tang and Song dynasties to Ming and Shang, the name changed a few times but the concept remained the same. The chamber was freezing cold, like below zero. Third brother's eyes lit up. He found the Tianjing in the northwest corner, he shouted. The coffin's structure was like Russian nesting dolls, one layer inside another. Emperors had 4 layers of coffins, dukes 3, officials 1, and lower ranks just the coffin itself. The layers connected with mortise and tenon joints, no nails. After 1,000 years, the joints grew fragile. Third brother pried at the outer layer, and it loosened. Working in sync, they opened the first layer within half an hour. Everyone was stunned. Beneath the white giant clamshell coffin was a black metal coffin. Red sister gasped, "It's oxidized silver. A silver coffin." Silver items existed in Western Zhou but were very rare. In the 1970s, inscribed silver burial items were unearthed, but this was a silver coffin panel several meters wide. The black oxidized silver was engraved with intricate patterns. Third brother was thrilled. Unbelievable. Just 2 layers of coffins and already this shocking. Imagine what treasures the innermost coffin holds. Opening the silver coffin was laborious. Careful not to drop anything on your feet. Suddenly, someone shouted, "There's some liquid leaking from the front." A black viscous fluid oozed from the silver coffin seams, its stench pungent enough to burn the nose. Everyone stepped back. Red sister covered her nose. "Is it some kind of preservative fluid?" Big brother nodded. "Looks like it. Let it drain fully before we look inside. There should be another layer of coffin beneath." "Wait, something strange," I said, pointing below a bronze statue. There's a pit under its feet, the coffin liquid is seeping down there. Big Brother frowned. On closer inspection, there were many small holes around the statue's feet, and the preservative fluid was leaking out through them. He scanned the main chamber and said, this might have been an intentional waterproofing design by the tomb owner, to prevent rain from damaging the coffin. Forget about it. The liquid has mostly drained. Third brother, let's pry open the final coffin layer. Be careful, Red Sister said, furrowing her brow as she looked around. My heart's racing badly, I have a bad feeling. Xiaohong, you're just nervous because it's so cold, the Sun brothers reassured her. Soon, they pried open the last coffin panel. As the silver panel fell away, my eyes lit up. The innermost layer was made of solid gold. This was truly a golden coffin with silver outer layers. Flashlight beams reflected off its dazzling, blinding gold surface. Unlike silver, gold never oxidizes, still shining brilliantly after a millennium. The golden panels were engraved with vivid patterns, including feathered immortals flying in the sky. The strangest feature was a row of armored soldiers whose helmets were entwined with creatures resembling snakes. Look closely, the snake even has legs. It's not a snake, just looks like one. Hongjie frowned as she stared at the pattern, lost in thought. Suddenly, she looked up sharply, her face filled with terror. Boss, third brother. The army with four-legged lizards coiled on their heads. Isn't this the legendary ancient Yu kingdom? The boss touched the golden coffin board, his voice low. That's just a legend. Don't take it seriously. I didn't expect the tomb owner to be a follower of the ancient Yu black sorcery. I didn't understand, so I asked Hongjie. She explained, ancient Yu was a small southern tribe, not the Yu kingdom of the spring and autumn period, much older than that. It was the birthplace of both Chu wizard culture and the Miao poison arts. Legend has it, ancient Yu had an army of four-legged lizard sorcerers who never lost a battle. Even more miraculous, as long as the lizard on a soldier's head was alive, the soldier wouldn't die. They could keep fighting even when injured. No way, that sounds too ridiculous, I said, half convinced. Hongjie nodded. I thought so too, but... She pointed at the picture and continued, that four-legged lizard absolutely exists. Today it's called the Chinese stone lizard. Around our place, we also call it dragon crawler. I even killed one as a kid and fed it to my cat. Third brother laughed along. Hong's right. This thing's nothing to be afraid of. In our village, we call it Dog Lady, and all the kids love catching and playing with them. I grew up in Mo, a place that's cold all year round. I'd never seen a creature like that stone lizard. The stench from the coffin's foul liquid was fading. The Sun brothers exchanged glances and nodded silently in agreement. The black liquid dripped down the golden coffin board, the sickening mix of yellow and black colors revolting to look at. Let's get to work, third brother. With a gold coffin and silver outer case this fancy, I want to see what's inside. Third brother nodded. The two of them started prying the coffin open with their entrenching tools. The coffin board and case are really tight. This'll take some effort. Metal scraped as the golden board slowly lifted, revealing the coffin inside. After a long struggle, the golden board came off, exposing the black coffin nested inside. This coffin was jet black and glossy, thanks to the gold and silver seal outside, almost no deformation. Made of darkened wood, the boss recognized immediately, this is an old locust wood urn coffin. Old locust wood? I swallowed nervously. Isn't it supposed to be golden silk Nanmu darkened wood? They actually used locust wood for coffins before? There are many kinds of darkened wood, not just golden silk Nanmu. There's red tune, green catalpa, cypress, hemp willow, yew, and mulberry. People think golden silk Nanmu is the rarest, but darkened locust wood is even rarer. It doesn't rot or get insect damage for thousands of years. Plus, locust wood is cool and shady, a feng shui favorite for preserving bodies. Hongjie agreed, nodding. There were 5 bronze nails on the coffin. Third brother counted twice to be sure. Should we pull the nails, third brother? I noticed his pale face. Yes. Let's open it and find treasure. Third brother replied. Just as the entrenching tool touched a nail, the coffin suddenly trembled, a muffled noise coming from inside. I jumped. Wanting to ask Hongjie if she heard it, the coffin shook again. This wasn't a hallucination, there was something alive inside. Terrified, I took a step back, voice trembling. There's something in the coffin. The Sun brothers stepped back immediately. Third brother's face went pale, cursing loudly, no way. The gold coffin and silver case sealed it so well, how could anything get inside? He thought it was a rat. No, maybe not a rat, I said. He glared at me. Don't say unlucky things. If it's not a rat, then it's a rat. Stop scaring yourself. Panicked, I urged, third brother, let's run. What if it's a Jiangshi zombie? That sent a chill down my spine, goosebumps rising. What nonsense about Jiangshi? We've opened so many big tombs, never saw anything like that. Stop babbling. Third brother snapped. Open it. Open it now, he said, picking up the entrenching tool and lunging forward. We held our breath, afraid to distract him. When he removed the third nail, he pressed his ear to the coffin lid, listening. After 2 or 3 minutes, he turned around with eyes wide open. I think I hear breathing inside. Suddenly, I remembered the nightmare I had, waking up and shakily pointed at the coffin. Third brother, please don't open it. The words were out before I could stop them. He roared, Northern faction doesn't have cowards. Don't scare me. Crack, crack, the last 2 nails fell off. He pushed the coffin lid with both hands, straining hard. Hongjie gripped her dagger tightly. The boss raised his entrenching tool, ready at any moment. As the lid slid open, third brother stood with his back to us, frozen still as if rooted in place. Boss, what's in the coffin? We anxiously shouted. He didn't move or respond. Third brother, the boss yelled, charging forward with the entrenching tool. Hongjie and I followed quickly. As we neared the coffin, not just me and the boss, but everyone was stunned, their jaws dropping in disbelief. Inside the coffin lay a very familiar face, second brother. He was none other than our gang's missing member for over half a year, Sun Lauer, Sun Lianfu. The scene was eerily bizarre. The air around was chillingly cold. Inside the ancient locust wood coffin, Sun Lauer's original clothes were long gone. Instead, he wore a loose gray robe, clearly heavier by a noticeable amount, and there was something bulging beneath the fabric. Sun Lauer's complexion was pale, lips tinged red, brows furrowed tightly. His hands were crossed over his chest, his face twisted in pain. Second brother. Lauer. The other brothers snapped back to reality, shouting frantically. Who would have ever imagined that Sun Lauer, missing for a full 6 months, would suddenly be lying in this luxurious coffin adorned with gold and silver? The whole situation was too bizarre, no one would believe it without seeing it with their own eyes. Though lying still and cold, Sun Lauer's faint breathing could still be heard, his chest rising and falling gently with each breath. Third brother's eyes turned red as he cupped second brother's face. Second brother, what happened to you? How did you end up in a coffin? Who did this to you? The hard months of pain and struggle instantly turned into tears streaming down the brothers' faces. Third brother leaned over the coffin, crying uncontrollably. Stop crying. Sister Hong snapped sharply. A grown man crying like a little wife. Hurry, get Lauer out of there. Yes, yes. Third brother suddenly snapped out of it, anxiously saying, quick, get him out now. We moved together to lift second brother out. At that moment, I accidentally brushed against the gray robe. Looking down, it seemed as if something snake-like was writhing beneath the garment. Suddenly, a slender, dull yellow tail slithered out from beneath the robe. The tail swayed side to side, brushing against me. It felt cold and slippery, ice-cold, with no warmth at all. Lauer, wake up! Wake up! Big brother shook him anxiously, calling out repeatedly. Biting my lip to suppress my fear, I slowly started removing the gray robe from second brother.